A playwright walks into a New York theater, not to audition, to sell a script. He had zero interest in acting, none. But somebody in that room saw something he didn't see in himself. That one moment changed everything. A kid from the Bronx became a two-time Emmy winner. His own brother directed To Kill a Mockingbird, and he became the soul of Empty Nest. His full story is coming at #1. And trust me, you are not ready for it. But he's not the only surprise on this list. One cast member faked her way into a Grease audition. Another spent 3 hours in a makeup chair every single morning, just to look older. And one name on this countdown completely owned the 1970s before Empty Nest ever existed. Before we get into it, quick question. Who were you sitting next to on that living room floor when the Empty Nest theme song came on? Drop it in the comments. I love reading those memories. Now, let's head to Miami. 2 Emmy Awards, before she could even vote. If you were alive in 1977, you already know this name, Christy McNichol. Born Christina Ann McNichol on September 11th, 1962 in Los Angeles. America's favorite tomboy before the word even had a proper definition. By 15, she had already won her first Emmy, playing Buddy Lawrence on the drama series Family. A teenager on television who felt completely real. Not TV real, actually real. She won 2 Emmy Awards for that single role. 2, before she could even vote. Then came Little Darlings in 1980. Christy McNichol opposite Tatum O'Neal, 2 of the biggest young stars in the country. One coming-of-age film, and a performance that proved she was absolutely no flash in the pan. In 1988, she joined the Empty Nest family as Barbara Weston, the tough, athletic, wisecracking youngest daughter of Doctor Harry Weston. She fit that role like a glove. But after 4 seasons, Christy stepped away. She needed time. She needed to take care of herself. And she made a choice very few people in Hollywood ever make. She chose her own well-being over the spotlight. She returned one last time for the Empty Nest series finale in 1995. One final goodbye as Barbara Weston. Then she quietly retired from acting in 2001. In January 2012, Christy did something truly beautiful. She publicly shared that she had been in a loving relationship with her partner, Marty Allen, since the early 1990s. Her reason was simple. She wanted to help young people who were being bullied for being different. Today, Christy McNichol is 63 years old, living a quiet, peaceful life in Los Angeles. She taught acting at a private school. She plays tennis, she practices yoga, and she absolutely adores her miniature dachshunds. She walked away from fame on her own terms and found something better, happiness. Now, someone else walked into Dr. Weston's office, but she came from a very different kind of courtroom. Marsha Warfield kept a secret for her mother for decades, but we'll get to that. First, the courtroom. For 6 seasons on Night Court, she played Roz Russell, 136 episodes of pure attitude. The toughest, funniest bailiff on television. One look from Roz could silence an entire room. When Night Court ended in 1992, she walked straight onto Empty Nest as Dr. Maxine Douglas. 50 episodes across the final 2 seasons. And then she vanished. Marsha stepped away from Hollywood for nearly 20 years. No big farewell, no dramatic exit, just silence. She returned to the stand-up stage in 2015, quietly, on her own terms. Then, in 2017, she came out publicly as gay. What people didn't know was that her mother had known since the early 1980s. Her mother's words were simple. "I know, I love you, but please wait until I'm gone." And Marsha honored that promise. For decades. Think about that. She carried her truth through every audition, every interview, every red carpet. And she waited, because her mother asked her to. Then in 2023, the phone rang. The Night Court revival wanted Roz back. Marsha walked onto that set for the first time in over 30 years. And the writers gave Roz the same journey Marsha had lived. They let Roz come out too. Marsha Warfield is 72 now. She's on the hit series 911, and she is still performing stand-up comedy. 30 years away, and she came back stronger. Now, from a woman who came back to the spotlight, to a man who lied to all of America, and got paid handsomely for it. David Leisure. In 1988, America watched a presidential debate. Michael Dukakis needed to call his opponent a liar on national television. He didn't use a politician's name. He used a car salesman's, Joe Isuzu, a fictional character from a commercial. That is how famous David Leisure was before Empty Nest ever aired. Those Isuzu commercials ran from 1986 to 1990. David played a salesman who lied with a perfect smile, and America could not get enough of him. He became the wisecracking neighbor Charlie Deetz on Empty Nest, but most people never heard the real story. Before any of it, David was living out of his VW bus. No roles, no money. A girlfriend suggested he take a workshop on TV commercial acting. One class. That is all it took. And here is the part nobody talks about. At San Diego State University, his college roommate was Robert Hayes. Robert went on to star in Airplane. He got a tiny role in that same movie. A Hare Krishna handing out pamphlets at the airport. His roommate was the leading man. David was background scenery. Born November 16, 1950 in San Diego, David Leisure is 75. He went on to appear in Days of Our Lives and The Young and the Restless, but to millions of Americans, he will forever be the guy who lied about everything, with the greatest smile on television. Now, speaking of names you cannot make up, Park Overall. And yes, Park is her real name. She took 6 years to finish college. Her words, she was having too much fun. Born March 15, 1957 in Tennessee, daughter of an English professor and a federal magistrate. She attended her own mother's college and clearly made the most of it. At 28, she finally moved to New York to chase acting. Her first job behind the counter at Alexander's department store, folding sweaters just to pay rent. From Alexander's department store to a Broadway stage, she made her debut in Neil Simon's Biloxi Blues, reprised the role in the 1988 film. That same year, Mississippi Burning with Gene Hackman. 2 years later, Kindergarten Cop with Schwarzenegger. This woman went from folding sweaters to trading scenes with action heroes. I love that. But the role that made America fall in love with her was Nurse Laverne Todd on Empty Nest. That southern drawl, that bone-dry delivery, that perfect comic timing opposite Richard Mulligan. 170 episodes, every single one a gift. Park Overall is 69 now. After Empty Nest, she poured her energy into the causes closest to her heart, especially protecting the rivers and land of her beloved East Tennessee. She arrived in Hollywood at 28 with nothing but nerve, and she never needed anything else. Now, our next cast member walked into an audition for one of the biggest movie musicals ever made. Small problem, she had no idea what she was doing. And somehow, she got the part. Dina Manoff. She walked into the Grease audition with a problem. She couldn't sing, she couldn't dance, not even a little. So she faked it. The entire audition, on personality alone. And she got the part. Go back and watch the movie. Look for Marty Maraschino. During every choreography scene, Dina is carefully hidden in the background. Every one. The filmmakers knew. They just didn't care. She was that good at everything else. Born January 25, 1958 in New York City, Hollywood was already in her blood. Her mother is Oscar-winning actress and director Lee Grant. But Dina earned her own seat at the table. In 1980, she won a Tony Award for Neil Simon's I Ought to Be in Pictures, then reprised the role in the film alongside Walter Matthau. She was 22 with a Tony on her shelf. On Empty Nest, she played Carol Weston, the neurotic, competitive, lovably man-deprived older daughter. 170 episodes across all 7 seasons, the one who kept coming back to Dad's kitchen table no matter what life threw at her. Today, Dina lives on Bainbridge Island, Washington, far from Hollywood. She works as a director and acting coach, helping the next generation find their moment. Seeing all these faces again brings back so many memories. Let me know down below, how many of you secretly had a crush on one of the Weston daughters? Don't be shy, confess in the comments, you're among friends here. And speaking of this family, at number 3, she walked over from another Miami living room and she brought that famous straw handbag with her. Estelle Getty. 3 hours. That is how long the makeup chair held Estelle Getty every single morning. 3 hours before a single line was delivered. 3 hours to become an old woman. Because here is the thing nobody talks about. Estelle Getty was 14 months younger than B. Arthur. She played B. Arthur's mother, but in real life, she was the younger one. And she did not stumble into that role by accident. Estelle Scher was born on July 25, 1923, on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, daughter of Polish immigrants in the glass business. At 4 years old, her father took her to a vaudeville show. She never recovered. For nearly 5 decades after that night, Estelle Getty chased performing like a second heartbeat. Small theaters, off-Broadway, regional companies. She paid her dues longer than most careers ever last. Think about that. 5 decades of showing up and being told no. Then at 62 years old, she became Sophia Petrillo, the sharp-tongued Sicilian mother on The Golden Girls. And that audition only happened because of what she did on Broadway first. She starred in Torch Song Trilogy alongside Harvey Fierstein, won a Helen Hayes Award for it. That Broadway stage is what brought her to Hollywood's attention. 62. Most people are winding down. Estelle Getty was just getting started. And here is something wild. Sophia Petrillo did not just live in one show. Estelle played that character across 5 different television series. The Golden Girls, The Golden Palace, Empty Nest, Nurses, and Blossom. 5 shows, 1 woman, 1 straw handbag. Nobody else in television has carried a single character across that many series. That is not a cameo. That is a takeover. She won an Emmy for that role. After 5 decades of waiting, after every small theater and every regional stage, the spotlight found her, and she grabbed it with both hands. For 7 years, she sat in that makeup chair, 3 hours every morning, and she never complained, because she had waited too long to waste a single second of it. Estelle left us on July 22, 2008. She was 84 years old, just 3 days before what would have been her 85th birthday. Nearly 5 decades of waiting, and when the world finally paid attention, she made sure every moment counted. At number 2, a comedian from the Bronx who was 1 phone call away from becoming the next host of Late Night. 1993. NBC needs someone to replace David Letterman on Late Night. They narrow it down. And one of the last names standing is a comedian from the Bronx named Paul Provenza. He almost got it. The gig went to a young comedian named Conan O'Brien instead. That close. Late Night history went a completely different direction. But rewind. Provenza started doing stand-up at 17. His very first set was at the original Improv in Manhattan. He graduated from the Bronx High School of Science, went to the University of Pennsylvania, and by 1983, he was on The Tonight Show, sitting across from Johnny Carson himself. He hosted Comics Only on Comedy Central, and on Empty Nest, he played Patrick Arcolla during season 5. So what did he do after losing the biggest job in television? He kept building. In 2005, he co-directed The Aristocrats. Over 100 comedians, 1 unprintable joke. It became a cult classic. Then came The Green Room with Paul Provenza on Showtime. The legendary caricaturist Al Hirschfeld once drew his portrait. That honor is reserved for the greats. At 68, he is still performing, still directing, still creating. He built something better than a late-night desk, a career that belongs to nobody but him. And now, number 1. You know, Empty Nest was never the loudest show on television. It never tried to be. It was just there every Saturday night, like a porch light someone always left on for you. And the man responsible for that feeling, we promised you his story at the very beginning. We promised you this story at the very beginning. A young man from the Bronx walking into a New York theater. But here is the part we did not tell you. He was not there to perform. He was there to sell a script. Richard Mulligan had zero interest in acting. Absolutely none. He wanted to write plays. That was the plan. That was the only plan. Before that theater, before any of it. He served in the United States Navy during the Korean War. When he came home, he enrolled at Columbia University, not for acting, for playwriting. He wanted to build the stories other people would tell. But somebody in that theater saw something in him, and they handed him a role instead of a check. His Broadway debut came in 1960. The play was All the Way Home. It won the Pulitzer Prize. On the big screen, he played General Custer in Little Big Man alongside Dustin Hoffman in 1970. He starred in films for director Blake Edwards, including S.O.B. and Mickey and Maude. Then came Soap in 1977. As Burt Campbell, he was wild, unpredictable, rubber-faced in the most wonderful way. He won his first Emmy in 1980 for that performance. But Empty Nest was the one. Doctor Harry Weston, the widowed pediatrician in Miami, the father who held his family together with warmth, with humor, with quiet grace. 7 seasons, 1988 to 1995. He won both an Emmy and a Golden Globe in 1989. His co-star, Park Overall, once said it simply: he was a wonderful man, a great mentor, and a true gentleman. And honestly, that is exactly the kind of man you hoped he would be. Off camera, Richard lived a quiet life. He spent his days reading, writing, memorizing his scripts. The man who stumbled into acting by accident turned out to be one of the most gifted comic performers of his generation. And here is something that still stops you. His brother, Robert Mulligan, directed To Kill a Mockingbird. Richard chose a different path. But both brothers left their mark on American storytelling. One behind the camera, one in front of it. His final chapter. Even when his health began to fade, Richard never stopped showing up. He kept working almost until the very end. He left us on September 26, 2000. He was 67 years old. A playwright who walked into a theater to sell a script and never left the stage. The man who became the porch light of Saturday night television. That was Richard Mulligan, the soul of Empty Nest. Before we go, 2 people in this family deserve a quiet moment. Estelle Getty waited 5 decades for her shot. 5 decades. And when it finally came, she made every second count. She proved something to every dreamer watching. Your moment can come at any age. She left us in 2008 at 84. Richard Mulligan, the accidental actor from the Bronx who became the soul of 2 beloved sitcoms, 2 Emmy Awards, 1 Golden Globe, and a gentleness that reached through the screen and into every home in America. He left us in 2000 at 67. They gave us their best years. The least we can do is never forget them. You know what stays with me? It is never the big moments we miss the most. It is the small ones, the sound of a TV theme song drifting down the hallway, the weight of someone you love sitting next to you on the sofa, a laugh you did not even know you were sharing. That is what shows like Empty Nest hold for us. They keep those evenings safe, so that 30 years later, all it takes is one face, one voice, one melody, and you are right back there. So let me ask you something. Which of these stories surprised you the most today? And if you could go back to the late 80s for just one evening, sit on that sofa again with the people who mattered most, what would that moment be worth to you? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and they mean more to me than you will ever know. If this video brought something back for you, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more moments like this one, subscribe and tap that bell. There are so many more stories to tell. Thank you for being here, for remembering, and for keeping these beautiful people alive in your hearts.